Okay, now that I got the screen recording and this one's on my shoulder, we're gonna go ahead and pull up Google. All right, and we're gonna go to astro.com. This is where we're going to find everything, all of it, at least some of it. Okay, so what you're gonna do when you get to this page is you're gonna let it load. And you're gonna scroll down until you see this little tab here, extended chart selection. You're gonna press that. I'm gonna pull up my coworker's information. Yep, the people I have here are the people that I love dearly. Okay, let's go ahead and edit. Let's edit this one. Alright. So I'm just gonna put his name as coworker because I'm not gonna put like his name and shit out there. I'm already putting his information. So we're gonna go ahead and put that information first. Boom. You're gonna go ahead and just make sure that both of these are on the person that you're looking for their chart. Then what you're going to do is, I mean, some people like to look into other types of charts. There's many different kind of charts that go deep. But just to keep it simple, because this is for my beginners, we're just gonna stay at the natal chart wheel 1. Okay, and all we're gonna do is just press click here to show chart. And here it generates your entire chart. So this is what the visual of your chart looks like, and this is the chart. This is the grid, and this is the chart. So how do we start when we're looking at all this? I don't know, this thing looks kind of crazy. When I first saw it, I was just like, what's all of this? What is going on in here? Let's start simple. Okay, well, this is a circle. This is a 360 circle. If you study Egyptian culture and beliefs and religion, well, beliefs that were practiced before. So if you look at any belief system way back, like in like the start of humanity and stuff, the start of life, our ancestors were well in tune with the positions of the stars and how fast the planets travel, and they can tell you what this means by looking at it. So let's get back and tune into that, and let's find out how it works. So in this circle that we have here, we have it divided into 12 pieces, which would be the 12 signs. Now, as you can see, these lines right here, this one line here, which is the ascendant, AC, and descendant, DC. Then these two lines right here, which is the IC and MC, your midhaven. So these two lines are very important. All the lines are very important. But when we get to breaking down your chart, you just want to know what you're looking at. You know, you don't want to try to break it down and not know what you're looking at. So what you're looking at is a division of the circle into 12 pies. And so what's going on is, you know, planets are doing their thing, world is doing its thing. Let me show you real quick what's happening while this is going on, while you and me are talking right now. This is what's happening. Literally the first one that comes up. You can go ahead and look at a video of what the planets are doing. So boom, look. You can see the solar system planets for the year of 2020 and their rotation and their journey basically in space. So this is basically what's going on. And this is what's making your chart. The middle point is where the earth is. If you look at the chart here, that's where the earth is. And then you have all the other planets, you know, doing what they're doing. You have the sun just chilling right there. And then you have, of course, all the signs. You see the planets are moving, right? And you see the signs are just going with the rotation of the earth. It's literally as if they just imprinted the 12 sections and just in a circle around that and just imprinted it on the earth and just followed the earth while it's moving with that chart. So that's basically what your chart is. It's a screenshot of the planets at the exact time that you were born. So let's say somebody was born now. That's what their chart would look like. You can even see here. So you see the sun is right here, right? That's the sign of Scorpio right there. Let's open this a little bit more. Not open it completely, Kiara. Not open it completely. The sign that's here is Scorpio. The sun is in the sign of Scorpio, meaning this person's sun sign is Scorpio. And so on and so forth with all the planets. So going back to the point, you have your chart here. You want to first know what each symbol means, of course. This is for beginners, so we're not going to go crazy deep because I be losing track sometimes, so I apologize in advance. But this is the sign of the sun here. Go a little bit more closer. See, that's the sign of the sun, that's the sign of the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, true north node, which what are the nodes of the moon? Basically, when you think of the the poles of the earth, right? There's a south pole and a north pole directly like opposite from each other. And so that's what's considered the north node and the south node of the moon. So they call the north node of the moon, the very top of the moon, and the south pole, the very opposite side of that. If you think about it in more like scientific and like exact ways, you can, like, if you know how a planet is made and stuff like that, you can really get into astrology and really like get really good. But anyway, getting to the point, that's the north node and the south node in your chart. So let me break down basically in short, quick terms what each one means. And again, you can search this up yourself, like literally Google sun meaning in astrology. That's all you have to Google. And you can get a meaning of what the sun means. We have here. And use different sources also. Always use different sources. Don't just use one source. So you can see how everything kind of connects. See, the sun sign dictates your zodiac personality, while your moon sign, the second most important influence in your horoscope chart, after the sun, represents your emotions and your inner mood. And if you think about this in the physical world, in your reality right now, like the sun provides light, energy. It provides life. And that's why they say that your sun sign is how you express yourself, how you automatically just respond to things. But that's the thing. The moon sign, your moon sign is your emotions and your response, and your sun sign is your action. So if we think about it, like I said, in a physical way, the moon comes out at night and it's hidden. It's like, it's dark. It's like the dark side and the light side. Yin yang. I actually have another astrology breakdown video that I made not that long ago. So you guys can watch that too if you want to get more insight. But see, I don't really like this website. So I'm gonna go to another one. I really like Cafe Astrology. It's a really good option to use when you're first learning and beginning astrology and your chart. It's a really good explanation. But the sun, the giver of life, represents our conscious mind in astrology. It represents our will to live our creative life force. Just as the planets revolve around the sun in our solar system, we derive our life purpose from the sun in our natal charts. That's why most people only know their sun sign. Like, you'll ask people their sign, and half of them won't even know what you're talking about, and then the other half will be like, oh yeah, I'm a Pisces, or I'm a Aries, or this and that. But, oh, I read information and I've looked into it, but it doesn't relate to me. I don't relate to it. Like, that's not how I am. Or it only relates a little bit. And it's very, and you know, they're like, oh, it's very general. It's not specific. And I'm like, but you have a moon sign though. You know what that is? Do you know your Mercury sign? Do you know your rising sign? Do you even know what a rising sign is? So that's my point. Anyway, so just notice how people only know the sun sign, their sun sign. Most people don't even really know that there's a moon sign. So it is also our the part of us that centers our inner child, that reasons things out and makes final decisions. The sun is our basic identity, representing self-realization. So if you watch my elements video, you know that there's 4 elements, and there's fire, earth, water, air. And I break down what each of them mean. So if you want to watch that, you can. You should, actually. Okay, anyways, getting back to your chart. See, I get lost. I get lost in a wormhole of information. But I'm digging myself out right now. Okay, let's get back up here. So this is the start. This is your ascendant. This is your rising sign. This is the start of your chart. Right? And as you can see, that's where the first house starts. A house is basically a pie in an astrologer's mind. There's a lot of terms and words that astrologers use to confuse you, and it's annoying, and there's multiple meanings for different things. Like, this is called your ascendant, but it's also called your rising sign. So it's like kind of confusing sometimes. But once you get the hang of it, you understand the basics. Okay, so the basics and the most important, I would say, of astrology for beginners is the rising sign, the sun sign, and the moon sign. So this right here is where your rising sign starts. This is your rising sign right here. Wherever this black line first black line is pointing is what your ascendant is. So in this person's case, this person's ascendant sign is Scorpio. And what is Scorpio? Scorpio is a water sign, and they're ruled by the planet Pluto. Pluto is about destruction, rebirth, transformation, sudden events, deep, very deep and very curious and mysterious planet and energy in general. So Scorpio is very mysterious. So when people have a rising Scorpio, like the gentleman right here, you can basically come off to others as suspicious or like mysterious, and like it can be like either people really like you or just people don't like you at all off the bat. Like, they don't even know you and they just feel like they don't like you, because Scorpio just gives that kind of energy that's like unknown and mysterious. So some people are comfortable with that, but some people are drawn to that. So that's why it depends. You can, it's an interesting position to have. That's the rising sign. That's where the first house starts. The first house ends right here. And this is where the second house starts. See, number 2. This is house number 1, house number 2, house number 3, house number 4, house number 5, house number 6, house number 7, number 8, number 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 signs, 12 houses. The houses have the characteristics of the signs, basically. Okay, this is a better way to say it. The houses hold the energies of the signs and the planets that rule that sign. And that's the energies that will be involved with that house. So, for example, this first house right here, the first sign. What's the first sign? If you know the signs in order, because the signs are in order from 1 to 12, the first sign is Aries. And that represents basically like, how would you, like, since Aries is the first sign, they're the flesh, like the manifestation of creation. And it ties into a lot about Aries, and I don't want to just go on a rant about Aries right now. But basically this house holds the energy of Aries and of the planet that rules Aries, which is Mars. Okay? The ascendant here that we were talking about, beginning with, this line right here is where the sun was rising at the time of your birth. So the sun was rising in Scorpio. And again, remember, the moon moves from every sign every 2.5 days. Okay? The sun rises in a different sign every day. And so the sun, we know that the sun is in a sign for 1 month. 1 month. That's why it's Aries for a whole month, Aries season, Virgo season, so on and so forth. But I suggest, if you really want to get to learn your chart and you really want to know where exactly to start, is I would suggest you learn all of the signs in order. Like, you got to know that Aries is the first sign. You have to know that Taurus is the second sign. You got to know that Gemini is the third sign. Cancer is the fourth sign. Leo is the fifth sign. Virgo is the sixth sign. Libra is the seventh sign. Scorpio is the eighth sign. Sagittarius is the ninth sign. Capricorn is the 10th sign. Aquarius is the 11th sign. And Pisces is the 12th sign. And literally that's all. That all applies for the houses as well. The number of the sign represents the energy of the number of the house. Some of the energy, at least. Because if you really dive deep into the Aries constellation itself, and like the planet Mars that rules it, you'll find out more information. You'll get more information. Step up. Step up, baby. Okay, going on. And I think I'm just going to make like episodes of this, honestly, because this is a lot of information. Okay, continuing. So you guys got an idea of what these mean, right? And remember, when you're born in a specific time, location, and day, year, month, there's literally a whole coordination for that. Like, there's a whole, like, if you think about it in a graphical way and geometrical way, it's so many different, like, things going on. So it's a specific coordination, it's a specific placement, and that's why these charts are very unique. Very unique. Everybody's chart is very unique. So now you might be wondering, okay, well, let's first go over the basics again here so you know what's going on. So look, the sun here is in Virgo. So this person's sun sign is in Virgo. So this person was either born in September or the end of August, right? September 19th. So the sun, as we can see, is in the sign of Virgo. You got to learn the sign symbols too, so you know what is what. But this sun is in the sign of Virgo. Now you're probably asking, okay, well, Kiara, you broke down the houses and stuff, but then, so if this house and this number is associated with Aries, why is Sagittarius there? Well, that's because when you're born, you know, it's not like the signs stay in the same place. It's everything's moving, like everything's changing constantly. Your chart is a screenshot of the solar system at the time of your birth. So a screenshot is going to give you, you know, basically a pause on what's happening in the solar system, right? And then applying it to where each planet is in your chart and all the coordinations going on, and that's just all packed into one little like graph. They're constantly rotating like I showed you here. Look, you see here, the planets are moving, are rotating with the are rotating constantly. Like everything's just rotating and moving constantly and changing. You see the sun, and this one is in Pisces. See, it's going into Pisces. But you see how everything's just moving constantly? You see the sun is in, see the sun is in Taurus. Yeah, that's Taurus. The sun is in Taurus, right? But you don't know what house that is for you specifically, because we're not looking at a specific location of birth. You know what I'm saying? We're not looking at a specific, like, yeah, location. There's no other word for me to say. We're not looking at a specific location in this video. This is general. This is just to show you what's going on. But when this is applied, when your chart pops up, that's because we're locating a specific angle in which everything's happening, and then you can tell what planets are where and what's going on for you specifically. Like, this thing is so complex, but I'm trying my best to like make it simpler than it looks. Okay? And so we got right here the sun. So now that you understand, like, you know, how it works, you understand that not everybody's gonna have this sign of Virgo in the 10th house, you know, and that's significant too. And you would search the meaning of that by literally just putting on Google Virgo in the 10th house, and that has a meaning within itself. You could search that up. Leo in the 9th house. You see, this person has Sagittarius in the 1st house, Capricorn in the 2nd house, Aquarius in the 3rd house. Remember, these houses hold the energies of the signs and the meanings and symbolism of these signs. Okay? And the 1st house usually means how you grew up, right? It's the first stage of life. It's the first sign. It's Aries. It's the warrior. Aries is the one who initiates and always starts things and doesn't think about it before doing it. So you see how like the psychological characteristics of Aries play within that house and the meaning of that house. It literally means how people see you as well. So people's first impression on you. Like when you first meet a person, you notice it's like you see a different face when you first meet a person. You're not gonna act the same exact way that you do in your home, the way that you when you go outside and meet people and talk to different people. So you have it's a mask. It's a mask. Everybody has a mask. So you can see what kind of mask you have and how people first see you and how you're first seen as by looking what sign is in that house and where this ascendant is pointing to. Because as you can tell here, it's pointing into Scorpio, but the house is almost all in Sagittarius. Okay, meaning. Hey guys, so that was a little break that I had, and so I'm back to continue explaining, and of course with a little bit more organization so that you guys aren't so confused and I'm not like taking you everywhere at the same time. So okay, right here we have our chart once again. That's my birdie. And so now I said that the main parts of astrology, I was talking about how the main, okay, boom. I was talking about the main parts of astrology being, for beginners, the ascendant, the sun, and the moon sign. Basically knowing what those mean and then going deeper from there, because trust me, this is how you learn it the fastest. So what you do is you have to look for the meaning of each of these darker, bolder lines that you see that are highlighted here. They're bolder than the rest because this line right here, wherever it's pointing, wherever sign it's in, is pointing is your ascendant sign, which is your rising sign. Okay? And literally, this is why Google's your best friend. You put what is an ascendant. The ascendant or rising sign is often considered the mask one wears when meeting others. Perhaps it is most aptly thought of as automatic responses to one's environment. The ascendant shows our natural defenses and how we, and then it just stops there. Interesting. And how we cope with the day-to-day issues. The energies of the sign and condition of ascendant are most overt and obvious to others. The ascendant shows the individual's first natural reaction to people and situations. All right, so the best way that I could interpret this in my own words is basically, and from what I know from what an ascendant is an ascendant or rising sign is whatever is where the sun was rising at your birth, right? And so this just means how people see you. This is the mask that you wear, like they said. So for example, when you go outside and you meet people and you see people every day, you're not meeting that true person like as soon as you see them. When you look at them, it's a mask. It's how they act when they're outside. And you have one too. And you notice when you ever meet someone, they look different from when you know them for years. And it's like, it's interesting how our first impression is always distinct from when we actually get to know an individual. So that's kind of what your rising sign represents. It represents that first impression and reaction of you when people see you for the first time. Like that right there is a spiritual experience within itself. Now you have a little bit better understanding of what your rising sign and what your ascendant sign is and where to find it. So if you apply the ascendant to like the meaning of the ascendant, which is how people portray you, their first impression on you, that's something that our parents show us. Like that's something that we develop during our childhood when we're growing up. And so that's the representation of the first house. The first house starts on the ascendant line and then ends where the second house starts, which is this is the second house. Second house starts right here. First house, this is the first house, ends right here. So, and everybody's houses are in different sizes. Not everybody's house size is the same. Again, it's all dependent on the coordinations and exact geometrical location that you were born, time and day. So the first house is our growing up stage. And when there's planets in your first house, as you can see, this person has Pluto in his first house. When there's planets in your first house, it just puts the energy of that planet into that perspective of your life. So in this person's case, Pluto, which is the planet of death, rebirth, transformation, sudden events, darkness, is in the first house of how people see him. And his ascendant is literally pointing to Scorpio, which is correlated to Pluto because Pluto rules Scorpio. So something you also need to learn about astrology is each planet rules a sign. Each planet rules at most 2 signs. So for example, Mars rules Aries, but it also rules Scorpio, because before they found out about Pluto, which is the planet that rules Scorpio now, they associated Scorpio with the planet Mars, and Mars also rules Aries. So Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. The Sun rules Leo. The Moon rules Cancer. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, as I just said. Venus rules Libra and Taurus. Okay? And if you want to look for the meanings of each planet and their energies, you simply just Google it. Just put meaning of Venus in astrology. Boom. But some people are visual learners, some people are like myself. I'm all types of learner. Like, I want to learn everything however most I can. So I have like books, and I have like different stuff that teach me more in depth about astrology. And with that being said, if you Google, for example, the meaning of Venus, it'll tell you here. Let's see the meaning of Venus. This is also a good website to go to. Venus is generally governing pleasure and what attracts us, attachment to material things, and subconscious urges to claim and make something our possession. It rules what we appreciate and brings us comfort, and of course, feelings that can be described under the category love. Venus is beauty, art, harmony. It brings beautiful things and pleasures and comfort. So everybody has their Venus in a certain sign. If you want to find what sign your Venus is in, you would look for the symbol of Venus, which is this. No, that's Mercury, my bad. This is the sign of Venus. And this person's Venus is in Scorpio, see? Also, each sign has 30 degrees. But before I get into that, let me finish the planets and what signs they rule. So Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Saturn rules Capricorn, but also in some astrologies, in other different types of astrologies, Saturn also rules Aquarius. And we have Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. And Pluto is Scorpio. Oh, and Uranus. Uranus, it rules Aquarius. And with that being said, going into the 30 degrees of each sign here, literally these little lines that you see here are the degrees. If you count all of these degrees, how many degrees is a circle? 360. There's 360 degrees in this graph. If you wanted to look for the meanings of each house, right? Just Google it. I'm telling you, it works. There's even videos on YouTube that help you understand these things as well. But there's not a lot. Alright, see, these are the 12 houses. Oh, ads. Ads on top of ants. Goodness gracious. I have so many ads on my thing. I have to get it checked out. Honestly. I do. Okay. Ad free. Oh my god, there goes another one. Hold on. Damn. These are the meanings of every house. You were probably reading it while I was just like getting distracted by the ads. So the first house is self, appearances, beginnings, the body, first impressions, attitude, identity, approach to life. First house, number 1, the start. The leader, Aries, first sign. Second house, money, work, income, daily routines, values, material possessions, priorities, habits, your job, and work ethic. A lot of people relate this house to money but the thing is, before even monetary, like physical money was a thing, it was, as they call the cosmic currency. It's trading. It's our ancestors. Let's just say, to keep it short and simple, our ancestors were well aware of the give and receive, and so there was no such thing as money once. So just have that in mind. I don't want to get too deep in it. And so the third house here, the mind, thinking, communication, siblings, social activity, interest, neighbors, early education. Third sign is Gemini. The mind, thinking. Gemini is always thinking, like always generating different thoughts at the same time. And then so this house rules your communication, your siblings, because I would think of it as like as your cousins and stuff like that part of your family, like your cousins. And Gemini is the twins. I don't know, for some reason it just makes sense in my head. Like when I just put everything together, it's just like, oh, okay, that's what that is. Okay, so the fourth house rules home, your roots, ancestry, also family, self-care, emotions, foundations, mother, children, woman, femininity. The fourth sign is Cancer. The moon rules Cancer, feminine energy, home, nurture. Fourth house, your home, roots, family, mother, children. Cancer is a water sign, sensitivity, emotions. Emotions. Fourth house. Fifth house, romance, love affairs, play, creativity, fertility, childlike spirit, self-expression, drama. Fifth sign, Leo, fire sign, very center of attention, very romantic, very childlike and high spirited. This house rules children. Your self-expression, childlike spirit, creativity, romance. Okay? Sixth house, health, fitness, systems, analytical nature, pets, work habits, organization, sense of usefulness, service given. Sixth sign, Virgo. Earth sign, very analytical, very detail oriented, and that makes them take care of things and their health more often because they live with that perspective, so they see things that way, and that's how it is, period. Analytical nature, work habits, organization is a very important word for Virgo. Sense of usefulness, but in their own way. Organization in their way. Okay, not trying to just say all Virgos have a strong organization or are very organized. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. This house also rules your health. Virgo, the sign, the earth sign, is so analytical. It's constantly paying attention to what they're eating. Like me, myself, I'm a Virgo. And when I started doing my research around 18 years of age of what's good for my body, what's actually good for my body and what's actually not, that's when I completely just cut off meat and I really started to get on my diet and like awareness on what I consume subconsciously and physically. So with that being said, seventh house, relationship, marriage, contracts, business partners, equality, sharing, interpersonal style. Seventh sign is Libra. We know Libra is the balance, air sign, communicative. So sharing makes sense, equality makes sense. They like things to be balanced. They don't like things to they don't like to be in a room where there's like confrontations going on or like an imbalance. They like to create a balance wherever they are. And they would like to make sure that everything's going fair and equally. They're very big on that. So, justice. But equality makes a lot of sense. Relationships. Libras are ruled by Venus, and Venus is about your relations as well. So, it makes them really value relationships. They find a lot of value in relationships with other people. And they're an air sign, so they're constantly... When I think of air, I just automatically go like this and like see lines and frequencies everywhere, and I don't know, I just think of stimulation and communication and constant movement. think of air, wind. It's just constant movement that we can't even see. So I don't really know where I'm getting with that, but let me not get too lost into this. Okay. 8th house, merging, sex, intimacy, shared finances, inheritances, taxes, loans, assets, property, joint ventures, goals, mystery, partner, resources. 8th sign, Scorpio, water sign. Very, very intuitive, mysterious, mystical, taboo. Intense sign. So sex makes sense. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars does rule sex. Pluto, it's also ruled by Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. Pluto represents the dark, what you can't see, what's hidden. 9th sign, Sagittarius, travel, wisdom, philosophy, higher education, law and religion, cross-cultural relations, learning and ethics. 9th sign is Sagittarius, higher learning. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Higher learning, wisdom, expansion, luck. 10th house, career, long-term goals, structure, status, reputation, public image, masculinity, men, fathers, experts, fame. 10th house, 10th sign is Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. We know Saturn is also, to a lot of people who know about certain religions and cultures, it's correlated to we know the symbol of Capricorn is the goat. Correct? If I'm not mistaken. It is the goat. Yeah, and if you look into tarot cards as well, you'll see it's the devil card. So it's more of a representation of the dark side and like temptations and just the dark side, the shadow side of life. And so Saturn rules life lessons. Saturn rules business. Saturn rules hard work, your career. And so that's why you can see here it says your career, goals, structure, status, reputation, public image, masculinity. Capricorn is a very masculine sign. And for those who don't know, the opposite the opposite house of that house is literally the opposite sign of that sign. So the 4th sign of Cancer is opposite sign of the 10th sign of Capricorn. Capricorn will always be opposite to Cancer, no matter what. Sagittarius will always be opposite to Gemini. Leo will always be polar opposite to Aquarius. These are all the polar opposition. Virgo will always be in opposition to Pisces. Aries will always be in opposition to Libra. Scorpio will always be in opposition to Taurus. Okay? We have the 11th sign. The 11th house is groups, friends, social awareness, humanitarianism, technology, hopes and wishes, the future. 11th sign is Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and also Saturn. Aquarius is a lot about the new age, right? When people hear Aquarius, they think of that, the new age. They think of technology, researching, technological advances, like social advances. Aquarius is very, 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 it's a very, very, very intellectual sign. And they have a lot of knowledge, let's say, for at least. Now, Uranus, the planet itself, is constantly moving. Constantly moving. And this portrays as an Aquarius. They're constantly moving and changing. And they're very rebellious. Aquariuses are the rebel. And they are seen as the weirdest sign. And compared to all the other signs, they're like the odd, the weirdest sign. Because they just... Think about it. Uranus, when you were younger in school, they would like make fun of the word Uranus. Uranus. And it would be like a weird, funny thing. And if you think about the fact that Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is a weird ass sign, it's like, synchronicity or not? So if we look at the fact that it says humanitarian in here, also friends, very true. Aquarians have a lot of good friends, have a lot of friends and a lot of connections and networking through friends. See how it says technology, hopes and wishes, the future, advancements, technological advancements. Humanitarianism. If you look at the symbol of Aquarius, it's a man that's carrying some water to bring to the village. That represents how Aquarius, the energy of Aquarius, of being the humanitarian, of being the one who looks after the people. If we go on to the next house, it's the 12th house. Endings, healing, closure, spirituality, solitude, karma, old age, afterlife, what's hidden, limiting, benefits, subconscious, the subconscious mind. So the 12th house is the last house. The 12th sign is Pisces. The 12th sign is Pisces. Pisces is the last sign. So endings makes sense. It's the last sign. It's the last house. Subconscious mind. Very, very interesting, huh? Pisces, being the last sign, it takes in all the energies from all the other signs. They can see and feel everything through the others. Like, they understand the perspective of all the other signs, meaning that they apply it to themselves. And when they do that, that's why they are so clairvoyant and imaginative and their individual self. They go with the feeling. They communicate and see things through visuals, energy, and shapes and colors, and literally this all processes in their mind while they're wherever they are. So this is what makes their mind so expansive and so imaginative. The planet Jupiter rules the sign of Pisces as well as Sagittarius, and this is what makes both of these signs like so expansive and so alluring to others. Okay, it's like a shiny diamond. When people see shiny things, they just go get closer to it. It's something about shiny things. Okay, I don't know where I was going with that really, but Jupiter is expansive and lucky. Pisces and Sagittarius are probably the luckiest signs in all the zodiac. See, it says healing, closure, spirituality, solitude. Solitude. A lot of Pisces are very imaginative and very, very creative. So creative, like they're constantly just flowing with life, and it's just so beautiful to watch, honestly. And it's a water sign, so they're very intuitive and very psychic and in tune with the emotions of other people, especially being a mutable sign. Like, they can literally become the environment around them, blend into it. Like, they're shapeshifters, real shit. And I mean, look, we have the subconscious mind as a meaning of the 12th house. We have spirituality, healing, afterlife, what's hidden, limiting beliefs, old age. Having that wisdom from that energy from Jupiter makes them appear to be old souls to other people. At least most Pisces. I don't know what your chart looks like specifically and what planets are involved in what houses. Everybody's chart is individually for them. It's different than any other person's chart. It's incomparable. Everybody's chart is different. And with that being said, now that I went on a rant all the way from talking about simply the ascendant, but see, if you want to look what your ascendant sign means, then you would look where this line is pointing. It's pointing Scorpio, so you would look for rising in Scorpio, and then get the meaning of what that placement means. And I'm 100% sure you will relate to it. See how when they're explaining, they're saying that it's ruled by Taurus, it's ruled by Gemini, it's ruled by Aries. For people asking, okay, well, why is this ruled by, what does that mean that it's ruled by it? Well, it just means that simply the first sign is Aries, so that's the energy of the first house. It's ruled by Aries. The second sign is Taurus. The third sign is Gemini. That's why the third house has the energy of Gemini, the messenger. The third house rule all forms of communications, talking, thinking, gadget devices. It also covers siblings, neighborhoods, local travels, schools, teacher, and community affairs. That's your third house. Your fourth house is Cancer, Cancerian energy, ruled by Cancer. The fourth sign is Cancer. This is the fourth house. This is the fifth house, as I explained earlier. Anyway, now that you have that down packed, these are just all the planets. Well, this is a spot of the moon. It's like literally the two nodes of the moon, and then the moon is just, we're constantly just moving everywhere, and then you're born, and then it's just like, oh, and then this is where the north node was on the moon, and then your chart is like this, breaking it down. Okay. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna make a part 2 to this. Okay, and I want you guys to tell me what I should focus on in the next episode of how to break down your chart for beginners that are going into astrology. So, with that being said, let me pull myself up. Pull yourself up. Okay. With that being said, I thank all of you once again for joining my channel and for being a part of this beautiful journey. Thank you all for your endless love and support. I appreciate you guys. And with that being said, I'm gonna go to sleep because it's late and I'm tired. But I want to continue this and I want to make another video for you guys. So please comment down below, like, subscribe, because it will truly help. It does truly help. So for all of you religiously tuning in, and for all of my amazing friends watching and sharing and liking and commenting, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for being a part of this beautiful journey. And I can't wait to make more videos for you guys. I'm just working a lot, so it's very time consuming. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end this video on that note. And remember to comment down below, and please let me know what you would like me to talk about in my next part to this video. I'll see you guys later.